Alright, all you video gamers, welcome to yet another Tricentennial Record Smashing edition of the DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories. And with a title like that, and seeing the fact that we've hit well over 300 episodes, we decided to go with a video game none other than Super Smash Bros. Melee! And this story comes from one of the challenge modes that my sister was able to set a record in, and let's just say it's a record that stood the test of time for the longest amount of time. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us to grab a controller, choose your character, and get ready to try to set a new record as we get ready to paint the picture. Alright, this video game story took place well over 11 years ago and would recur once again in about 4 months ago as well. Yeah, it's a two-parter, folks, because my sister, who played this game religiously while she was in school and out of school after she graduated, would be able to unlock everything in this game, including a challenge that went by the name of the Showdown, which was the level 51 challenge after you beat Master Hand and Crazy Hand. And it's a challenge where you would have to fight, and I kid you not when I say this, not only Giga Bowser, Mewtwo, but Ganondorf in a 3-on-1 fight to the death. And if you're able to beat all three, you unlock a series of things that I don't remember, and along with it, bragging rights at the fact of how quickly you can beat those said characters. And in certain tournaments, folks, there's actually a qualifying round that if you actually are able to beat it in a certain amount of time, you would get buys in certain tournaments. And I think that was the case once my sister did this for the King of the Couch tournament that we had to do when we went to my mom's job. I do believe somewhere about 2 towns over from where we live. And needless to say, she was able to do it a hell of a lot quicker than I did, and that always did stick in my craw no matter how many times I mention it. And her record that stood the test of time, folks, would be well under 2 minutes and 1 second in the world of the Showdown for that final challenge, which would be her second proudest record that she would be able to achieve in Super Smash Bros. Melee history, next to her other record that seemed unbeatable, which was 13579 for the home run contest in the world of the Home Run Derby for Super Smash Bros. And she would get that record with Yoshi by doing the river dance to that sandbag so many times that she would knock it out of the park so far that no one would be able to beat that record. But unfortunately for my sister, one day, and thanks to a friend that I keep forgetting the name of that I met during the King of the Couch tournament, showed me a new way to fight with a character that a lot of people took as a joke, known as Jigglypuff. And Jigglypuff in this game would have a special technique since the Super Smash Bros. Days on the Nintendo 64, where she or he, because I don't know what gender it is, would be able to have the ability to actually use Psychic to knock out an opponent whose health is more than 20% on the bar. And I would be able to learn this special technique that I would call to this day the sleep technique that would be able to eliminate enemies within an instant. But I would only use it during emergency cases because most of the people I would fight against would be really hard to get right above their head and pull this psychic technique without getting killed myself. And once I was playing the Showdown, months after my sister decided to move down south, I looked at that game of Super Smash Bros. Melee, saw my sister's record, and I said, yeah, it's time. I have to beat it. I have to beat it. And so I decided to plug in the game, hook up my old Wii U, and decided to try to take on this challenge once and for all. And the first couple attempts that I did it, as Jigglypuff, yeah, let's just say things went bad fast. Not only because every single time I tried to take out Ganondorf or Mewtwo, there was Giga Bowser right there to stop me dead in my tracks with one of those dark headbutts, or even one of those ground pounds that caused the ground to explode and killed me instantly. But after well over 24 attempts, and yes, I counted at home, folks, I was finally able to find the technique I needed to try to take him out, and was able to take out Giga Bowser in less than 30 seconds with the sleep technique, and then would make my way on over to Ganondorf and Mewtwo by hitting them both with sleep techniques as well, until they were down to their last lives, and it was down to about a minute and 36 on the timer on the top of the screen. And I would start to panic and say, oh no, I don't think I'm gonna beat it. Today's not the day. I kept telling myself that today's not the day. I'm not gonna beat it. Until fortune would smile upon me, folks, in the form of Togepi, who would come from out of nowhere using the technique of Sunny Day, causing them both to fall asleep next to each other, and I would jump right over their heads and boom! At the same time hit a double sleep technique, sending them both flying in two opposite directions, for both of them to go out at the same time while the clock would stop at a minute and 41 seconds, saying the words I thought I would never hear after 11 years, a new record! And after hearing that, folks, I would jump up and down like I won the sweepstakes, and would take a picture of it saying that I was finally able to beat my sister's record, but I wouldn't be satisfied with it. And the reason why that is because I know my sister's very over-competitive and would try to go for a time even lower than that. And after days and days of trying to beat my own personal record, I would be able to skin off about another good 40 seconds off of that record, making the new record about a minute and 1 second with a point at the end of it and 36 after it, making it almost impossible for anybody to beat my record, and hopefully will stand the test of time for another 11 years if I have anything to say about it. And with that said, folks, wraps it up for another tricentennial psychic blowout new record edition of the DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories. And with that, we'll be back with more right after this. So stay tuned.